Hello, my dear students. We will be beginning with e-business and outsourcing, one of the very important chapters of our syllabus, because as modern times are, you very well know how important and impactful e-business has become. First, the topic of meaning of e-business. In simple terms, it is means of doing the business over the internet. This drastically changes the manner of doing business. Of course, for traditionally we've seen how people needed to meet with each other and carry out transactions. But e-business has removed all that compulsion of people meeting with each other. It refers to any form of business transaction in which buyers and sellers interact electronically using telecommunication networks. So nowadays, with the advent of these smartphones, it is basically becoming all the more very easy to carry out e-business. And because the support of internet is there, so it is not only state-wise or nationwide, but it is across the globe. The entire world is interconnected. You can just be sitting at any corner of your room, at your place, in your house, in your office, anywhere, even if while you're traveling, and you can transact. Now, the next topic is about differences between traditional business and e-business. Now, as the features highlight, the differences are like traditional business was difficult to set up, much more heavy machinery, equipments, establishment cost involved. It was indirect through done through intermediaries. Then approach was limited. It required high investment of money for raw materials and infrastructure. Then but there was high personal touch also, and it required sampling. It required both skilled and semi-skilled labor. Government support was also low. But compared to this e-business, one of the modern trends of the commercial commercial transaction, things are comparatively simpler. There are hardly any establishment costs, because the moment you have that device with internet support and you've got those application softwares that will initiate e-commerce or e-business transaction in your business, things really become easy, isn't it? So that lets you to have widespread exposure of your business towards the consumer. That also puts an impact on the fact that you lack personal touch with your consumers. So if you keep the basis of difference on these points, you will find clear cut the characteristics that feature the differences between traditional business and e-business. Online transaction, there are various payment mechanism which are done through different steps. Like first and foremost, you got to find the seller, so from the supplier from whom you're buying the material. So you'll place the option of buying through internet transaction. You will select the product that you've decided for. You will place the order. Then options will be coming, that whether you want to pay cash on delivery, or you want to make it by a check, or you've got net banking facility, or maybe you'll use your debit card or credit card. And nowadays we've got Google Pay and Paytm, all those options also. So that digital cash can also be used. Once the payment is made, or maybe commitment is given for cash on delivery, the delivery happens, and then there's post-sales activity where a feedback regarding the product is being taken. You've got scope of business coming over here. Now, scope basically has got 4 dimensions being explored here: B2C, B2B, intra-B, and C2C. Now, we'll be discussing this in detail in class, where I'll just point out certain terms over here. Like B2C means business to consumer. So similarly, business B2B will be business to business. Intra-B will be within a business organization, and C2C is consumer to consumer. Nothing to worry about, because we'll be taking up this particular topic in class in detail. We come to benefits of e-business. Many, in fact, quite a huge number of benefits, and that's the reason why now, in the midst of all this crisis, this depression and this recession that's going on across the entire globe, we still are hoping for a better economic future, just because we can rely more so on e-business. So there's global reach, global customization, then improved competitiveness, because so many firms are involved. Personalized products are available. They can be customized according to your wish. then they eradicate the supply chains, so the middlemen are not there, their profits involved are not there, substantial savings can happen because you can offer goods at lower prices, novel business opportunities, prime business opportunities are there, convenience in buying, shopping, it is open 24/7, it is just in your in your hand, the entire software is in your hand, you can use it anytime. Society will become paperless, so we are basically looking after our environment also. It is speed, it's just, a transaction is just certain clicks away on your mobile phone or device, laptops or computers, and of course it results into lower investment also. So these were the advantages of e-business, but then it comes with certain limitations also. Like, of course, there's hardly any personal touch. We may be having hundreds and thousands of transactions with Amazon and Flipkart, but we don't know who the other side, the person is who's taking our order, who's dispatching the goods, who's the owner. We hardly know about it. Delay in delivery, that is also another constraint that often happens. They say 2 days time, 3 days time, 7 days time, but often you will find the things are not being able to track easily. Unfamiliarity with technology, those people who are not very well aware of the technology, they are hesitant of making transaction. High risk is also involved. You may be ordering, seeing something in a 2D version on your device, but then actually the thing may be looking may have some other looks, the quality may not be appropriate, it may be not according to the choice of the product that you made. Ethical problems are also there. Sometimes you find it more convenient to go to the shop by yourself and inspect the goods and take the sampling and then buy the goods. So that is also another constraint. Resources required for successful implementation of e-business, websites, good advanced websites are required, hardware system, telecommunication system, because without these device or technical supports you cannot imagine to carry forward your work, isn't it? Technically qualified people are required who will run these softwares and these applications, and they will give a follow-up of the e-business. Reliable system of receiving payment, of course, that is also one, because people are hesitant about when the money gets deducted from your bank account, you've already paid but the product has not reached you. So all those constraints are always there. Security and safety of the transaction in e-business, how will you maintain that? Transactions are often there, like by default, you just open the site and there's an order being taken, or maybe there's some problem with the delivery, or maybe an auto payment is generated. So all these problems are there. Data storage problem, risk to intellectual property right, things can be copied, there can be duplicacy, you may not be able to assess the the originality of the product. So all these problems are definitely there. There are certain threats to e-business transactions also when you're operating them through your devices, like your bank accounts and details can be hacked. You must have come across many such instances in newspapers, heard them from your elders, or maybe have heard about the news in television. Brand hijacking, that also happens sometimes, that is a threat to the companies. Impersonation, that is you pretend to be somebody else and you enter into a transaction. Maybe you've got to know about that person's PIN code or mobile PIN code. So fraudulent activities take place, improper registration of the domain names, there are different sorts of viruses, and of course that leads to cybercrime also. Now, what is the method? How can you make your system secure? Inform the cybercrime cell. Encryptions of cryptography, that's a popular means. We'll be discussing that in the class also. Digital signatures, now a very, very in thing. Digital signatures are verified, and third party involvement, always being a witness being present, or code, or some sort of a verification filtration is always there to make your transactions more secure. Next part of the chapter is about outsourcing. Outsourcing means when you are actually giving a certain part of the activities to a third party so as to benefit from the expertise and the experience of that person. Now, the specialist who is known to have carried out the work is called as the outsourcer, and the company appointing it is called as the outsourced, right? What are the features? Contracting out, so they contract out jobs. Non-core activities, generally non-core activities where nobody will want to part away with their main function or main work. Third party specialized agencies are hired and they take charge charge for their services. What is the need? It improves the productivity because specialists are doing it, reduces the cost because there's low amount of wastage, opportunity to focus on core business. So of course, when you just sideline those secondary activities, you can mainly focus on the main activity of the business. Latest developments can be implemented because the expert will be knowing it best. Expansion and growth can take place, boost to economy, that will improve the overall economy. What are the benefits of outsourcing? Productivity will increase, expert advices can be taken, cost can be controlled. So if cost is controlled, it leads to more of savings. They are always accountable to the owner, and the technology can be refreshed and re-engineered from time to time. That will improve the human resource quality also who are working, and of course that will give more expansion opportunities to the business. What is the scope for outsourcing? I mean, how more can it expand? You can actually go ahead with delegating your financial services, advertising services, courier services, and customer support services through outsourcing. Another important concept that we'll study about is KPO, that is knowledge process outsourcing. Now, if BPO was business process outsourcing, knowledge process outsourcing is about when you impart knowledge. Now, of course, it is the higher end of BPO. It focuses more on knowledge, expertise, predetermined processes are required. It is result oriented. It covers definitely the non-core activities, and it requires professionals with right skills. Next is smart cards, that is meaning and utility. Smart cards, in short, you need to know that smart card is typically pocket size card, your ATM card, your debit card, all these are smart cards. Now, though, everywhere, even if you go to a mall or something like that, they will give you those cards, smart cards, to collect points, and then you can later on reveal. So of course, people have been using it to a lot of extent, especially now with physical the existence of buyers, sellers, or traders in a market. That's a big problem. These smart cards have been really, really helpful to carry out e-transactions, right? And you've got those SIM cards and chips also. Like, it could be a memory chip, it could be a SIM card, and those are really, really very very handy in using all different sorts of e-transactions. The last part of the chapter, the last topic that deals with healthcare informatics and e-commerce and enterprise and network security, we'll be just wrapping up that in the class by discussing a little bit of details here and there, because anyway the syllabus has been trimmed, so we'll be guiding you according to that trimmed syllabus as specified by the council in the class. So as of now, we are through with this chapter also. Thank you, everyone.